Hello guys, we're here for Modular 10, where to stop at intersections. Now I know there's a lot more in this chapter than just mainly stop at intersections, but this is a key point in your driving. You know, hey, do I stop at the line? Do I stop at the crosswalk? Do I stop before the line? How do I stop behind the car? So it's sort of a little quiz, or not necessarily a quiz, but basically to go through and teach you where to stop at intersections. The other thing we're going to talk about is the seatbelt law. We're going to go over some myths, some true-false questions, and talk about them as we get going. All right here I have a must-watch video, okay? The video is very long. It's not, YouTube will not allow me, it's like, I don't know, 45 minutes. It won't allow me to put this in the PowerPoint and put the video in there. It is from a police officer, an Ohio police officer, and at the very end of the thing, he actually says this. This is what he says. He says, "I never unbuckled a dead man from a car." So he's 25 years in experience in law enforcement, come to many collisions. One of the collisions he shares in the video. And he talks about, I have never unbuckled a dead man in a car. So he talks about the importance of wearing a seatbelt. I would advise taking a picture of that, put that little code right there in YouTube, and the HTTPS and so forth. Down here, room to live. I got the same thing down here, but I took off my picture here cuts off the WKC. So put that in YouTube, go watch it. I promise you, you'll love it. It's a very good video. It's a very good video for mom and dad to watch too. I promise you, you'll love it, the video. All right, as I promised always, lesson 10, here are the questions for the chapter. Here are your review questions we're gonna do. So take pictures of them or do whatever and go through and look at each one of them. You know, pause the tape, whatever. There's your true or false, and go look up those questions throughout the chapter. That should help you. All right, so we come here to this particular intersection, all right? And as we come to it, a car is coming up, and you are in the black car, and it says where to stop at the intersection, okay? This particular intersection with the crosswalk, we're going to stop behind the crosswalk. We're going to stop behind the crosswalk. So if I see a line, I got to be able to stop to where I can see that line. This particular intersection has two stop signs. It actually has a stop line, and it has a stop pole. So where are we going to stop at? Right here. We're going to stop at the stop sign, at the curb line, behind the crosswalk, which there is none, or at the stop line. All right. As we watch the video going through, we're going to stop behind the stop line. So you're going to find a pattern here as we get going through all these, and we're going to come up with a rule, which it is a rule, but I want to come up with a point. I want you to watch the pattern here. All right, next one, number 3. It says there's a light. Are we stopping under the light? Okay, well, we're stopping at the curb line where you can see it, or at the stop line. Now, it's usually a blinking red light. Where we're really going to stop at, guys, we're going to stop where you can see it. Again, we're not going to pass the curb line here. So if you draw a line across here, we're not going to pass that curb line. But if there's a big old tree or a billboard sign right here, I kind of want to be able to stop where I can see it before I go. So no painted line. I'm stopping where I can see it. All right. Number 4. So right here we got 2 yield signs. We're going to stop at the yield sign, the curb line where you can see it, or the stop line, or you're not required to stop. Obviously, we're going to stop where we can see it. Cars come up, he's going to stop, he has to yield, cars coming, all right? and then basically takes it. He's going to stop where he can see it. Again, if there's a bush, something blocking his view, he wants to move up a little bit to see. Could he double stop? Could he stop and then move up again? You could, but you got to watch out for that car behind you hitting you in the rear end. All right, the answer is C, where you can see it. Okay, number 5, at the curb line, where you can see it, both A and B are just at the crosswalk. So here's our cars coming up. So we've got the black car comes up. There's that car going through. Okay, there's no stop sign. So obviously he's kind of stopping at the sidewalk, but again, there's no painted line. More than likely you would see a crosswalk here, but if there's no painted line, I'm going to stop where I can see it. That's the key thing. And then number 6, two-way stop. We got crosswalk, a stop line. If y'all see this, we got a crosswalk, a stop line, and a stop pole. All right? Where we're going to stop at, as he comes up, he's going to stop at the stop line, not the pole or the crosswalk, because the stop line's first. So be aware of that. There's nothing in the rule that actually says thou shalt stop at the pole. As you can see, the answer there is stop at the stop line. So, you know, be aware of these things. It's basically, if you're looking at them, our rule is this. If there is a painted line, we're going to stop at that painted line. If there's no painted line, we're going to stop where we can see it, where we can look left and right, where we can see it. Now, if you want to guide yourself, yes, you could stop at the pole and then move up again, but do not leave that intersection until you can see around the corner very good, okay? Don't just stop and think, hey, I'm going to stop and it's my turn to go, and then someone comes flying through that intersection. All right, so we're going to have some questions here. I'm hoping you can see this, but basically question number 1, where is the lane of least resistance to car number 1? So car number 1's way down here. The lane of least resistance is really to the left, okay? It's the least amount of cars in the left lane. I know 6 is here, but when he moves up, we want to get to the left lane. All right? Number 2, what is wrong with number 2 space? Right here, here's car number 2. Let me see if I can get you a yellow color here. Here's car number 2. And basically what's wrong is he's driving in, you could say he's driving his blind spot, but we could say he's in a pig pen, a crowd of cars. So he needs to slow down and regain front space. Okay, he's tailgating is what he's really doing. Okay, what is wrong with the vocabulary word we've used for number 3 location on the street? All right, car number 3 right down here. He's right there. He's what we say in a pig pen. You could say that. He's in a crowd of cars. You want to be able to have what we call that little diamond space, you know, front, back, and forth. So number 3, which way should car 4 look before he or she proceeds? So here's car 4 right here. He should look left, right, left, center. Okay? You know, be aware of that. Number 5, why did number 5 crash? Because he failed to check his blind spot. So right up here's number 5. He moved over. He did not look over the shoulder. He may have saw it, but that green car was in his blind spot. He needs to take a peek over that shoulder and look for it. What is wrong with number 6's space? 6 is down here. He is actually driving in the blind spot of car number 1. So he wants to move up or slow down, get out of that guy's blind spot so he can see him. What is the imaginary spot called for number 7? Number 7 right here, he's got a green light. We call number 7, he is at the point of no return. So he's going to go through the light. Right here, why did number 9 and 8 crash? Well, 9 was right here. 9 forgot, he looked left, saw that they were stopped. He looked right and saw they were stopped. And then he forgot to look center because number 8 took off. And then why did number 8 crash? So car may have not cleared left, right, left, failed to clear center. and number 8 may have cleared left, right, left, but failed to clear center. They both fell to, they saw that these cars are stopped, but he forgot to look at that guy coming across, and he pulled out and got hit. All right. What is the vocabulary word we use for vehicle number 10? We just call that a billboard, you know, big old truck, bus, whatever. And then, which vehicles have poor front space? All the vehicles have poor front space except for number 7. Okay. What should car number 11 do when the light turns green? So right when the light turns green, you want to kind of regain his front space. We call it 1, 2, 3 roll. You know, clear and then basically gain that front space. Okay, so now we're going to talk about a little bit who should yield the right of way. So we have a couple of situations. So the red car seems to got there first. So if the red car got there first, it would go first. But also the red car is on the right. So who should yield? The black car, the white car arrived there first. Okay. Two-way yield, who should yield the right of way right here? Basically, 2 cars get there at the same time. The red car has to yield, or the white car, if that's what you want to call it. It has to yield because it has the yield sign. It has to yield to the black car. Who should go first and why? So basically right here, the black car has the right of way. It has no stop signs. There's no stop signs anywhere, but the person that has the dead end intersection has to yield to the intersection. So a T section on the road dead ending into a cross street always has to yield the right of way. And that's the same thing for a parking lot. If you're coming out of a parking lot to a main street, you lose to everybody. All right, you must yield to everybody. Number 4, who should yield the right of way? So basically, black car is turning left. So if the black car is turning left, the black car should yield the right of way because the white car or red car, whatever you want to call it, is going straight. So straight always goes first. So this is a real good review for you. Just kind of going through some stuff. Who should yield the right of way here? White car. Oh, okay, I see what's going on. The white car is backing up, all right? The black car is traveling straight. So whenever you back up, you got to yield to everybody. I was wondering why I was backing up there. But basically, you backing up, you have to yield to everybody, all right? All right, so we got a real crazy one here, okay? Everybody, it's a 4-way stop. Everybody arrived at the same time. Who goes first? All right, who goes first? Some of y'all may say, hey, wave them on. No, you don't wave someone on. A guy waved, supposedly right here, you got the black, blue, yellow, and red. The red car waved the blue car on. He pulled out the white car thing. He thought he was waving him on. They crashed. They said this guy was waving us on. The cop ended up giving the ticket to the red car. So be aware of this. Really, it's the first person that goes first. All right? So, you know, once the red car takes off, then everybody follows right, and you go from there. Don't ever wave someone on at an intersection. You could just wait there, you know, until someone starts the initiation, and then you just go to the right all the way around the clock there. A little bit of parking uphill we want to talk about when parking downhill. So we're parking downhill, so the car's going to go downhill. Whether or not there is a curve, the tire should always turn to the side of the road. So basically, when you're going downhill, the car should be turned to the side of the road. So basically, you know, you want to be turned that way. So if you start to go, down the hill, you're going to go into the curve, the grass. All right. When parking uphill, so if we're parking uphill with a curve, the tire should be turned away from the near side. And with the curve, they should be turned the opposite way. So that's to make the car, if you're going uphill, go into the grass, or if there's a curve, you turn the wheels that way. Now the car goes into the grass. So you just got to kind of watch that. It's a little difficult when we get hills. Don't have too many hills in Texas, but some places we do.
YouTube. Here's a YouTube video.
Video on the internet, a scrapbook full of pictures. Memories are all Reginald and Rose Rutledge have left of their daughter Rihanna.
She lived, as close to a perfect life as, I've ever seen.
18-year-old Texas Tech honor student Rihanna and her brother Reggie were asleep in the back seats of the family SUV Christmas Eve a year ago. The car hydroplaned on a rainy highway. It spun out of control and hit a tree. Neither of the teens was wearing a seatbelt, and Rihanna was thrown from the vehicle.
We found her over in the field and immediately ran to her, but she was pretty much gone.
Although Reggie was injured, he survived, but he lives with that tragedy every day.
I sort of withdrawn in a sort of sense from all my friends at school and even in my home also. Like, I don't find a lot of reason to go out and hang out with any of my friends or to sometimes even come downstairs to talk to my parents.
The Texas Department of Transportation says it's reaching out to teenagers in particular. Teens are 3 times more likely to be involved in a fatal crash because they weren't buckled up in either the front or the back seat.
A lot of them just say, I'm a safe driver. I know how to drive. I don't want to get my clothes wrinkled. I'm in the back seat. I'm okay.
The Rutledge family has set up a foundation in memory of Rihanna. One major goal is to promote seatbelt safety.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts. You need to buckle up.
It really can affect the outcome of life and death when you're in a car, and I would advise every teen to wear a seatbelt.
This is Larry Brill reporting.
All right, lesson 8, seatbelts, true and false. So basically, number 1, the law in Texas states that everyone must be buckled up in the car. True. That answer is true. The law in Texas states that infants 0 to 2 must be buckled up in the infant seat. That answer is true. Now let's talk about that infant seat. Should they be buckled up in the front seat? No, because the airbag coming out. So, that's the big thing. Basically, you should be buckled up in the middle, and it's sort of backwards, where the kid's kind of looking out the back window in a way. The safest place for infants to be buckled up is in the front seat facing forward. False. Okay. Airbags, when activated, come out at 200 miles per hour. That is true. Airbag protects me in all types of collision. That is false. It won't. Sometimes they don't protect you in side collisions or rollovers. Okay. Airbags are very dangerous because they activate when they're not often. That is sometimes true, but lately the technology in airbags have become very, very good. So I would almost say that this is false now. You really got to kind of hit something pretty good to activate that airbag per hour.
If you could have another chance, what would you do differently?
They give me the wrong pizza. I got pineapple on this. Sick, man. I didn't order it, did I?
Think. Always wear a seatbelt.
If one has the airbag in the vehicle, there is no need to buckle up. The answer is false. Of all individuals killed and injured or airbags, the majority of them were not buckled up in the position properly in the vehicle. This is true. You know, take the collar off, whatever. The chances of being killed the chances of being killed if you are thrown out of a vehicle is 20 times greater than staying in the vehicle. That is true. You should never wear a seatbelt in the back seat. That is false. If riding in a vehicle, airbags, and sitting in the passenger seat, one should adjust the seat as far back as possible. That is true. If you're sitting in that passenger seat, you want to move that seat back as far as you can. I'm sorry about the tallest person should be sitting in that front seat, move that back, and a small person should be sitting in the back seat. They ain't got any room. Airbags activate, come out at 5-10 miles per hour when you hit something. That's pretty true. Seatbelts save you 100% of the time. False. You know, there are different situations, rollovers, so forth. The latest technology devised airbag are called smart airbags, which inflates at the speed depending on your weight. Yeah. So like in my car now, in most cars, the airbag on-off switch will be gone in that passenger seat if nobody's there. But once I sit in it, the light or the alarm will beep, 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 and so forth. So that is false. Airbag has on and off switches. Nobody has an on and off switch anymore. That's old stuff. It says true, but that is actually false. 49 states have a seatbelt and only one not having them. I think this is going to, yeah, it's false. I think all 50 states. I think all 50 states now have a seatbelt. 49 states have a seatbelt law with only one having one. It's going to say true, but I think it should be false now. I think everybody has a seatbelt now. Texas primary has a seatbelt, which the law means an officer can stop you for seatbelt violation only. So if you're standing at the light, you're sitting there, you know, listen to your radio, whatever. Cop pulls up next to you at the light. He looks over and sees you're not wearing the seatbelt. He can pull you over just for the seatbelt. And that's a pretty hefty ticket. It's about $125, $150 or more. And you sometimes, they take a defensive driving class. Well, now you got to take a seatbelt class. So be aware of that. Some states have a secondary seatbelt law, which means that you can only be fined seatbelt violations secondary. True. It says false, but I think there are some states out there that still have it. You can't pull the person over for a seatbelt law unless they get pulled over for something else. Every state's changing this now. Okay. The minimum fine for not wearing seatbelt is $50. That is true. It says false, but I know in the law book. But you know what? They may have raised that up from 50. It probably has gone to $75 or $100 now. So. All right, we're talking about turnaround. This is a 3-point turnaround, how he backs in, pulls up like that. I like that, and then you turn around, okay? Sort of a 3-point turnaround, but I like how they back it in. Some people do it the other way. Here's another, this is what we call probably the 3-point turnaround, is the car comes in, turns into the driveway, all right, then backs out of the driveway, and then he takes off and go. That's a 3-point turnaround. I like the other one best because it's easier to maneuver. All right, this is a turnaround. The guy's car doesn't make it all the way, so he has to stop. Then he kind of goes up on the curve there, and then backs it out, and then go. I do not suggest this one at all. All right, angle parking. We talk about the lines before the holes. You saw my video on there talking a little bit about angle parking. Put it right there in the hole using those lines with your shoulder. Showed y'all in an earlier one. Parallel parking. He's going to come up. We're going to talk about putting the rear end with the back window and so forth. It's a little hard to do it with little paper things, but that's parallel parking. Safety restraints for adults, snap it in, wear the shoulder belt, don't put it behind your head, and make sure it fits nice and snug. Airbags in the dash, the steering wheel, passengers 12 years of age. Obviously if the kid's, under a certain amount of age, you might want to put them in a booster seat in the back, and so forth. Airbags side impact. There are airbags in the frame right here, some in the headrest, and so forth. They come out, and I'll tell you, they'll come out so fast that you'll see a white powder. You will think the car is on fire. It is not. Okay, it is the airbag. The airbag is packed with a powder or so to preserve the airbag. When it comes out at 200 miles an hour, there's going to be smoke in the car. Don't just run out of the car real quick thinking, in the middle of the freeway and run out of the car to get out because the car's on fire. It's not on fire. Safety restraints for youth, belt, seats, restraints, seats, back seat, infants facing the rear, birth 20 pounds, child seats up to 40 pounds, booster seats up to 60 pounds. Movement of belt occupant in a 31-mile-an-hour crash, head will move about a foot, chest about a foot, and pelvic about a foot. So that belt's got to hold all that in there. It's got a little belt and pulley and belt, so when the force of motion goes, that pendulum hits the pulley and jars it. So that's the end of Modular 10. I do have some videos there that you've seen. I hope you like them. We'll see you in Modular 11. We're very close to being done. Make sure you keep going. Get all 12 chapters done, because if you get them done before 10 months is up, you don't ever have to pay more money. Once 10 months comes up, you're going to have to pay some more money, like 20, 30 bucks to renew the course. It will leave you where you left off at. But basically, just get you're one chapter away or one module away. Let's get it done and go there. Again, remind your mom and dad to go down there and look at Module 13. It's some instructor videos, especially the parallel parking video. Go through the little notes on the driving and so forth. And there's also a video at the very end on what you take to the DPS. I will be going over that in Modular 12. We'll see you.